Good morning to everyone. Myself, Dr. S. Dhanambal, Associate Professor, Computer Science Engineering, belongs to Community College of Engineering and Technology. Today, I am going to explain the concept under the data warehousing and mining. These are the some other important objectives of the data warehousing and mining subject. First one is the concept of data warehousing introduction and important concepts of data warehouse. Then second one is to know the fundamental of data mining, basic concepts, and understand the importance of association rule mining. Then understand the techniques of classification and clustering. The final chapter under the fifth unit, we have the recent trends of data mining, where we are using the data mining concepts under the industry, IT industry, and any other industries. This is the first unit syllabus. Start from that. In this first unit, we will discuss about the basic introduction part about the data warehousing. It start from the data warehouse, and final chapter is OLAP tools and the categories and the guidelines of the OLAP tool. Okay. What do you mean by data warehouse? Okay. Uh, data warehouse are subject oriented, integrate, and time when non-valid collection of data. You are collected the data from the different places or different databases, and finally going to take the decision using a data warehouse and mining concept. Just is a we'll explain about the subject oriented. What the use of data warehouse mean? It's provide information around a subject rather than the organization ongoing operations. Is mainly concentrate in the data warehouse. Is concentrate in the product of the particular company, then customers, supplier, sales and revenues and everything we will discuss under the data warehouse and data warehousing concept. A data warehouse is not focused on the ongoing operations. It's also analyzes the future of the particular company, and based on the data analysis going to take the decision of the particular industry using a data warehousing and mining concept. Then data warehouse is constructed by integrating data from the heterogeneous sources. What do you mean by heterogeneous sources? Mean you have collected the data from the different sources. Take a simple example. I want to go to analyze the data based on the different heterogeneous sources, different sources. I take a simple example. I want to collect the data for the particular feedback for the particular product. You have collected the data directly from the people's. Otherwise, you have to collect the data from the different locations. Also, you can collect the data through the Google Forms and everything. Okay, it's called as the data warehouse, integrating data from heterogeneous sources. Then time variant. The data collected in a data warehouse is identified with a particular time period. You have concentrate in the just collected the data, and based on the time period, you can analyze the data and finally going to take the decision based on the data. Uh, here the mention is a time variant. The data collected in a data warehouse is identified with a particular time period. Some other companies there concentrate in the quarter based analysis the data. Some other companies there analyzes year based analysis data. Some other companies they may be analyzes the data day by day. Is a particular time period. The lot of IT companies, all the other manufacturing industries, they are concentrate in the quarter based. Every year you have a 4 quarters. First quarter they will consider as a April, May, June. The second quarter they will consider the July, August, September. Then third quarter, October, November, December. The final quarter, so fourth quarter they will consider as a January to March month. Is based on the data and uh, analyzes the data. The data in the database provide information from the historical point of view. Historical point of view means I have got to identify the data based on the historical point of view. Take a simple example. If I have just consider as some other IT companies there, otherwise any manufacturing company they are considered as a previous data. Example, they are considered each every year is called as a historical point of view. The 1990s or 1995, 2000, 2005. That is a historical data. Based on the historical point of view, they can analyze us, then identify the what are the problems that have happened in the previous existing systems, and how to rectify the problem using a historical point of view. Here you have a non-validity. Non-validity means the previous data is not erased when new data is added to it. Okay. In this techniques used to, you are not going to erase the any data from the database. You can add the new data into the database. It's called as a non-validated techniques. Okay. A data warehouse kept separate from the operational database, and therefore frequent changes in operational database is not reflected in the data warehouse. Whenever you can add the new data means the previous report is not affected based on the new data. Here, just to mention here, a data warehouse is kept separate from the operational database, and therefore frequent changes operational database is not reflected to the data warehouse. Only store the data in the final, they are going to take the decisions. Okay. Data warehousing terminology. You have a lot of terminologies there under the data warehousing. First one is the current detailed data. It's organized along with the subject lines. Current details data means take the industry. Take a simple example. This industry, they are considered as only employee details. When the employee details, we have a details about the employee details, employee ID, employee date of joining, employee salary, and everything is considered under the current detail data. Suppose they are customer detail, mean they have a customer profile. Take a simple example: customer profile data, sales data. Okay, how many products are purchased in the previous years and previous months and previous days? It's considered as a current detail data. The data mart summarized department data and customized it suit the needs of the particular department, the ones of the data. Data marts have collected all the data maintained under the single data positions. Drill down. This is another one important terminology under the data warehousing is called as a drill down to perform business analysis in a top-down design. Here you have a group of data you have under the database. You can using a drill down techniques man is analysis based on the top-down fashion techniques. In this another one important terminology you have under the data warehousing is called as a metadata. What do you mean metadata? Data about the data, it contains a location and description of warehouse system components, names, definitions, structure, and content of the data warehouse and end user views. Here they are concentrate in the names, structure of the content of the data warehouse. Structure of the content means structure and content means you have a create a structure. Based on the structure, you can store the data in your database. Here, this is a simple data warehouse components architecture diagram. Here you have a important, these are the some very important components there under the data warehouse components. First one is a source data external, and next one is the data staging. Then third one is a management and control. Under the metadata, you have a data warehouse database, you have a data. Then based on the data, you can create a metadata. That is called as a data storage location. The next one is a data marts, information delivery, multi-dimensional database. Here you have a multi-dimensional database, you have two-dimensional database and the three-dimensional database. Then while if you have using a different types of tools used to filter the data and finally create a report, it's called as a query report. Then data mining. Just I will move to explain the one by one all the data warehousing components. First one is a data warehouse database. It's based on the relation database management system. Server that functions is central repository information data. Here you have considered as a relation database management system. Server that functions central repository information data. Here central repository have stored all the data in the different memory locations. Have stored the central repository data. In this data used to filter the data using different types of techniques, then finally create a report using a central repository data. The repository is around a number of key components designed to make entire functionals manageable and accessible by both operational system source data into the warehouse end user query and analysis tools. The next important, another one important tool, data warehousing components. Sourcing, acquisition, then cleanup and the transformation tools. The data transformation is required so that the information can be used by decision support tools. Okay, based on the you have a using the different types of tools used to take the decision for the particular data. The third one is a sourcing, acquisition, cleanup, and transformation tools functionalities. Okay, what are the important functionalities under the in this type of in this component? One is to remove unwanted data from the operational database. What do you mean by unwanted data? Means you have a huge data into your computer, but you have some other junk data. It's unwanted data. Example, take a simple example. Just I need the details about the particular student details. Means they have entered to the student serial number, register number, name, Okay. And other columns, some other columns, just to mark and everything. The students properly enter the name, but he is not properly entered to the register number. The mention the register number is, if you have a 10-digit register number, mean you have mentioned only the 6 or 7 digit, means it's a unwanted data, it's a junk data. In this data is not properly used, means not in this data used to not create any report. So it's a unwanted data. So whenever you have a data report, you are going to create a report, means first you can remove the unwanted data. It's called as a cleanup position. It's called as a remove the unwanted data from the operational database. The next position of the component is converting to common data names and attributes. You have a different types of names used to store the data in your database, but you have the data is converted to the common data names and attributes, then only possible to using the different types of tools used to filter the data and finally create a report, okay, and taking the decision of the based on the data. The next one is the calculating, summarize and derived data. The summarize means summarize the data using the finally derived the data. Establishing missing data. As to default for missing. If you are missed any data, means that data also you can add to the particular memory locations. The next one is the data heterogeneity. It refers to the different way of data is defined and used different models. You have using the different models used to store the data and retrieve the data from the database. Then here, what do you mean by metadata? Data providing about one or more aspects of the data, metadata. Here you have two types of data. One is a technical metadata and another one is a business metadata. What do you mean by technical metadata? Metadata means information about the data source. You have stored a lot of data in your database. You have all the all the details you have maintained under the data is called as a technical metadata. Transformation description. Okay, you have details. Just you have take a simple example. Whenever you can move to the mouse, if you are click the right click, means the property means automatically display the details of the particular computer or particular locations. In the same manner, you have a transformation description. You have stored the data. In this data, you have detail. All the details are mentioned or displayed to the screen. The third one is use perform cleanup and data enhancement. Cleanup means you have removed unwanted data using this component. Then data operations. The final one is access authorization, backup history, archive history, information delivery history, data acquisition history, data. These are the another important components operations under the technical metadata. Access authorization. Access authorization, only authorized person to access the information from the particular database. Okay, take a simple example. Lot of authorized techniques is there. One is suppose one person is only read and write the data. Another person is possible to read, write, and delete the data is authorized person. Based on the authorities who have authorized the access the information from the data from the database. Then backup history, you store the previous data, you have store into the backup history, you have details have in the under the database. Information delivery system. Okay, how many data or what, which type of data you are transfer from the source to destination, everything you have under the information delivery history. Business metadata. It contains information that is stored in the data warehouse to the user. The metadata, business metadata, you have details about the stored data warehouse. Which type of data you can store into your computer, then related to the details you have under the data warehouse. So contains data, business metadata. The internet homepage, everything you have under the business metadata. The metadata helps the user understand content and find the data. What the purpose of metadata mean? In this metadata used to help the user to understand the content and they understand how to find the data in the database or how to search the data from the in the database using the techniques is called metadata. Metadata also stored in the separate data store which knows the information directly metadata repository. It help integrate, maintain the view of content and data warehouse. Metadata characteristics. It's a gateway to the data warehouse environment. Just is a the next one is support easy to distribute replications of content for high performance and availability. You should searchable business oriented keywords. So what is the main? This is the main use of metadata. So metadata easy to search the data and retrieve the data from the database using a metadata techniques to support sharing the information. It's also metadata is also support to sharing the information from the single network or more than one network. Support provide interface to the other application also possible. Access tools. These are the some other important access tools under the data warehouse components. One is the data querying and reporting tools, application development tools, executive information system tools, OLAP tool, and data mining tools. Particularly now, currently they are using for the a lot of companies they are using for the OLAP tool. The next one is a data warehouse admin management, security and priority management, monitoring, updating multiple sources, data quality checks, managing and updating metadata, auditing and reporting data works usage and status, replicating, subsetting of distributing data, backup and recovery. These are the these are the important functionalities under the data warehousing admin and management components. First one is security and priority management. So you are securely you are store the data into your data warehouse. Also, you can retrieve the data based on the priority of the user. The monitoring update from the multiple sources. Okay. Then also you have in this component user to monitoring all the activities under the single database or more than one database. Then data quality also check whether the data it will be forward or backward to the particular location. I mean, the check the quality of the data, whether any corrupted data, otherwise any problems are happened, otherwise any unwanted data is transferred or received. Everything are checked under the data quality checks. Managing and updating metadata any each and every time they are managed and stored and updated the data, auditing and reporting data warehouse usage and status, then also report maintaining the store the data and reporting the data when you are stored, when you are retrieving the data, everything have under the reporting data. Okay, these are the some other important data warehouse components. Today's session we have discussed about the first, we are discussing about the first chapter, unit on data warehousing. Under the unit of data warehousing, first we are discussing about what do you mean by data warehousing, introduction part. Then what is the use of data warehouse under the subject-oriented topics. Then move to the time variant techniques we have discussed. Then data warehouse terminologies. Under the data warehouse terminology, we have discussed about the current detailed data, data mart, drill down, and metadata. Then move to the data warehousing components. We have a different data warehousing components used to transfer the data from source to source database to data mining. Finally, you can create a report using the different types of components used. Okay, these are the topics we are discussed in today's session. Thank you. Thank you to